Hello, I'm Piaget Jenkins. Today I would like to review the background and screensaver settings for RES Workspace Manager 2011. Workspace Manager has the ability to pre-configure and set wallpapers and screensavers for users. And as we have seen in the Workspace Preferences video, the users also have the ability to choose those settings for themselves depending on the options given to them by you, the administrator. So let's dive in and take a look. Alright, so to get started, we want to navigate to Composition, Desktop, and then Background. As always, we want to make sure that's enabled first. And right below that, you will see the desktop background image. Now, if you hit the image button here, you will be able to actually add any images you want to provide for your users as a mandatory background or as a background from which they can choose via their workspace preferences. Now, the one at the top here I've added myself. The ones at the bottom, they come by default. And if you want to add any more, hit the add button and feel free to browse to an image of your choice. If you are using a Windows shell, it needs to be in bitmap format. That's the reason I have all these in bitmap here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. And once you have an image selected, you can actually preview it right here at the bottom by hitting the preview button, as shown there. Just to check out another one, we'll select that image, hit the preview button, and we can see the preview. So let's go ahead and put it back on this guy here. And there we go. Right below that, you will see default desktop colors, and you can actually choose a custom background color or a custom text color if you like, or there's actually the default colors here that you can choose from as well. And then if we jump right back up again, we have the image placement, which is just like Windows. You can choose to stretch it, tile it, or center it, however you want to provide that desktop background for your users. Now we come right back to the middle here. We have the desk pick environment variable, as you can see. And this is especially useful if you have different groups of users for which you want to provide a different desktop background for. So for example, you can provide the first floor users desktop background A and the third floor users desktop background B, or just a user and another user. So if that is your situation, you want to make sure to check this box, and then any changes you make here, let's hit apply. Now what we're going to do, since that is our situation, is we're going to actually go ahead and configure that environment variable to do so. So to accomplish that, we want to navigate over here to Other, and then Environment Variables. I have a couple of variables that I've already configured, but if we go ahead and open up one of those, you can see that all you have to do is add an administrative note. So for this example, the background is the blue one. You give the variable as the desk pick, and then you get the value, which will point to that actual image that is stored in the image button on the background feature. And then after that, you can add your access control, be it a group or a user. I've chosen a user here, A. Johnson. So A. Johnson essentially is going to be receiving the blue background. And we click OK, and then I have another one here configured that C. Johnson will be receiving the green background, just like that. Now, next up, we have our screensaver. And as you can see, it's very identical. Essentially, the only difference here between the screensaver and the background is that we have right here set mandatory timeout for screensaver. Now, what that does is that you can allow a mandatory timeout anywhere between 1 and 60 minutes for the users for the screensaver. If you do not check that box, then the user is actually able to go into their workspace preferences and they can choose their own timeout value. Now that we have a good grasp on that, let's go ahead and take a look and see how it works for the user. Okay, so let's get logged on with our first test user, C. Johnson. Now, if you recall, C. Johnson should be receiving the green background that we set up back in the management console with the desk pick environment variable. There we are. He has the green background. Please excuse our old branding there. Now, if we log off, let's go ahead and take a look at our other user, A. Johnson, who should be receiving the blue background. Okay, let's log in. And there we go, he has a blue one. Well, thanks for viewing. This has been Background and Screensaver for RES Workspace Manager 2011.